county is stronger than the private property owner. The county is stronger than the private property owner.
In America, you got private property rights, and you don't have the right to tell him what to do with his property.
This is outrageous. Where are the armed men who come in to take the protesters away? Where are they? This kind of behavior is never tolerated in Boracua. If you shout like that, they put you in jail right away. No trial, no nothing. Journalists, we have a special jail for journalists.
Good afternoon, Yuba Sutter. This is the Yuba Sutter Political Spotlight, and we'll be here live for the next 2 hours out at Mount Huth. How's everybody doing today?
Hot.
Yeah, it's a little warm and smoky.
Yeah, smoky.
It's cool in here. I'm
Well,
good.
it's cooling down since we turned on the AC anyways.
Grateful. I think when we consider what's going on north of us, what's going on west of us, what's going on east of us and south of us. Mm-hmm. But it's always a good day when you wake up and Donald J. Trump is your president.
Amen.
That is a good day, indeed.
Well, definitely, Liz loves Donald Trump. Yeah. So I'm doing fine. I am a little irritated about the eating out of our substance. This is the number one issue with me. Eating out our substance.
I used that phrase last Tuesday.
Yes, and I watched that online at the supervisors meeting. So I'm tired of having my substance eaten out.
Yuba County isn't, though.
Hey, Bill, how do they respond to you when you talk about them eating out our substance?
Well, you try to shame them, but I don't know if they've got any shame
Yeah,
left.
how do you shame the shameless?
They came across Sullinger needs to be schooled a little bit in the Constitution. He doesn't quite grasp the importance of it yet, but we're working on that. But he did give a shout out to the well, actually not a shout out to them. There was 3 union voices there that day, all with their hands out, and they were being courteous but whining about the Joneses 2 counties over making a penny more than they were, and how they were so abused and everything, and it was hilarious. I was just shaking my head. Really, we're going to chase the Joneses, huh? Because that's a never-ending story.
Yeah,
it never ends. There's always somebody making a dime more than you do.
Yeah, you make a really good point.
And Sullinger, I'll give him an attaboy. He stood up to him and says, look around. I can't give my employees that kind of a benefit that you got. You're getting paid nearly twice as much as a private sector individual. Quit your whining.
Yeah.
He said that, huh? I didn't see that in that video you sent me, but glad to hear that. Yeah, that's a fact right there.
And he did want to move along on the anti-sanctuary resolution for the county, which, as speaking under the aegis of State of Jefferson, me and Jim Seif and a few others. Doris spoke that day. Good for her. She's, if a young lady of 84 can get up and speak in front of the Board of Supervisors, first time, she was excited. Anybody can get up, and I encourage everybody listening, get off your duff, get in there on Tuesdays, every other, first and third or second and fourth, I'm not sure.
The problem, Bill, for most people, is the time of the meeting.
That's right.
At 3 p.m., when most contributing members of society are out making a living.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
When we're applying pressure to our boards, we need to insist. Can you tell me any other meeting? I mean, Yuba County, I'm not even going to get into Yuba County. They meet at 9 a.m. in the morning, their supervisors. How whacked is that?
Well, that's for the staff.
Well, and they know that their constituents over here in Yuba County get up by 3. They just can't get up by 9.
So
they don't work.
So do they? Okay, I think I'm following you.
So as long
That's only a certain segment now.
Yeah, and if you're in Sutter County, most of you work, so then they just have it at 3 where they know you're at work. They don't want the public there. Come on.
Obviously, the room is full of staff. It's,
You'd think there was an infection there or something, huh?
yeah, I think that thing needs to be lanced. Can we move the meeting? Can you tell me of any other county or city meeting that meets at 3 p.m. in the afternoon?
Well, Bill, I have a question for you. So which one of the Sutter County Board of Supervisors has actually committed to making that their goal to bring that forward to the rest of the supervisors board? Which one is committed? I'm sorry, the sanctuary, anti-sanctuary city.
Well, Sullinger wanted to move it forward.
So he wanted to.
Yeah.
What I'm trying to get
Well,
at is, did he just say that, or did he make
No.
a commitment and he's actually going to take action?
Well, I don't know if he's going to take action, but he spoke out about it, which is action in my eyes so far. Dirty Whit doesn't want to lose his maid, so I doubt whether he's going to vote for it. And Larry Munger, he's going to get replaced here.
He's checked out.
Yeah,
He's
I know.
checked out.
So we've got Dan Flores, who wanted to put some teeth into it, but Dan did say last time I talked to him, he wasn't there Tuesday, but the last time I talked to him, he said that we've got to talk about that and get things moving. So
That's what we do in
There's
Sutter
two.
County. We talk.
yeah, we talk.
We talk.
Larry Munger, he's full now. He's ate out our substance until he's full.
He's almost full. He just needs a few more months.
Yeah. So, and he's been there for many, many years, right? He helped negotiate all these great contracts for the
He did a great job.
yeah.
Him and Whit.
Yeah, what a beautiful deal.
Well, it seems like that anti-sanctuary city resolution, it's not something they have to completely start from scratch. I mean, there's others they can.
There's dozens
Glean
of them
from.
out there. Yeah.
So, like, pick one and, make your little adjustments and let's pass it.
It's not about the anti-sanctuary city. It's about making a decision. They're incompetent and can't make
That's
a
what I'm-
decision, so there's no decision made.
Yeah, that's what I'm
all there
saying.
is to it.
Somebody make a decision. Somebody do something.
Yeah, let's get that on the books, then we can move ahead to our next resolution.
And what would that be, Bill?
That might have something to do with the Second Amendment, and that wouldn't be an anti-sanctuary thing. That would be a sanctuary thing.
I was just thinking about that. Let me see.
So, where are we on our agenda here?
Well, our next subject we wanted to bring about was something that the Sutter County Taxpayers Association brought to light with a letter that they sent recently to the levy districts 1 and 9 board members. Something that this Sutter County Taxpayers Agency or Association? Association. Okay, yeah. So these folks are, I think, greatly underappreciated and do some really good work. And they really dedicate a lot of their time to where other people just aren't paying any attention, and they really bring a lot of things to light. So I'm not even sure if this would have even made it to public knowledge or not. But it apparently, the levy districts 1 and 9 are getting together and deciding that it's a great idea to add another assessment to take care of our levies when
Special assessment.
a special assessment, yeah. So everybody knows a special assessment, that's another tax. So I'm certainly not in favor of another tax when the levies are something that are supposed to be taken care of by the state, because these levies are on rivers that go through multiple counties, and yet they're wanting to put an additional burden on our county to collect some taxes.
Is that going to be like a property tax added to our property tax?
Assessment. Mhm.
Yeah.
Yep.
In addition to the one that we're already paying for. In 2010, they put an assessment on the ballot. But the Sutter County Taxpayers Association agreed to help them do that if they would appoint a Citizens Advisory Committee, which was known as CADAC, an acronym for Citizens, right? Which
I remember that.
they did a great job. They were overseeing everything. And then in 2017, gone. They just gone.
Who disbanded it?
The supervisors and Sabufka. Sabufka was the number one agency that said, we don't need you anymore.
Sabufka, I mean, is that a foreign entity? I've never even heard of it.
You're kidding me. Sabufka stands for Sutter Buttes
Flood control
Butte.
Flood-
agency.
Singular.
Oh, okay.
Sutter Butte Flood Control Agency.
Okay. So,
Oofka.
Sabufka.
okay. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm, I'm just not up to speed on all these acronyms.
Well, check
So,
your property taxes, and you might be a little bit
Yeah.
more interested.
I just usually pay it and keep on running.
You're not one of those lucky individuals like Larry Mertz that has like a $6,000 assessment,
No.
grand total, taxes, fees, and other
Yes.
irregularities.
And I've been in my house for over 30 years. So that I'm in a pretty good position, I guess, compared to a lot of people.
Yeah, it's unaffordable.
Yeah. So,
Well, it seems like every time there's like this citizen watchdog group that manages to manifest, they're only temporary because they eventually get squashed out of existence. Which
By what authority does Sabufka have to unban that committee?
That's a good question. I know that they had a Sabufka meeting, and 2 of the Citizens Advisory Committee members were told to leave. And then they ended up just taking a vote and getting rid of the whole advisory committee, lock, stock, and barrel.
These meetings are public, right?
They are. They are. Sabufka is another one of those agencies that meets at inconvenient times.
the problem I have with agencies is anytime you have they portray themselves as a public agency. They're not elected. No. They're somehow appointed, but they're not accountable to anybody.
Right.
They don't have to answer to anybody. They're not, whatever they do, they're not held accountable for. It's really a bad situation. And I would like to see more of these citizen advisory committees put together versus unaccountable agencies running amok all over the place.
You've got your computer there. Why don't you look up what an agency is, just for fun?
Just for fun.
Yeah. I remember listening to a speech one time where the guy said, "What is an agency?" And it was quite comical because the people working for the agency could not tell him what the agency was or what the word agency means.
So you just want a definition.
So Google says agency is a business or organization established to provide a particular service, typically one that involves organizing transactions between two other parties.
Okay. So they're organizing transactions between two other parties.
An arbitrator.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. In other words,
exactly.
The government is one party and the people is the other party. And the transaction is, we're taking your money.
Yeah. Well, in the case of Sabufka, it's just one part of that equation.
So in 2010, we got an assessment that the citizenry voted for, and that was to last for 33 years. So now this new one that they want to put on the ballot, which I might add, 8 o'clock in the morning, right, at the supervisor's chambers.
Yes, that was the one I was trying to think of, was 8 o'clock in the morning. That convenient hour when all the mothers are taking their children to school. And
exactly. Yeah. And even for retirees, it's that 8 o'clock a.m. is like the middle of the night, for Pete's sake. Come on. So
it's about lunchtime for me.
Yeah, that's where I was going.
Well, you're not a senior.
Yeah. No, I'm not.
So this new assessment isn't just for 33 years. No, it is for your lifetime. So put your head around that.
Is this over and above the other one?
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah. They're never going to rescind the other one.
Oh,
No. So,
Now, isn't it true that from Live Oak North to Oroville, that is all upkeep is all taken care of by DWR, Department of Water Resources, and as it should be from Live Oak South through Yuba City.
right.
but it's not.
No, we've got these wonderful LD levee districts.
Well, it's because when the river travels through a major metropolitan area, you have a major tax base that you can dip into. So
There you go.
there's your, it's an opportunity. You don't want to miss those opportunities.
Don't ever let one of those tragedies go to waste.
Honestly, in our region, we are paying for our own bondage. You know, just at what point is enough enough? Well, government grows.
When it comes to government, there is no end.
Liz, I think that's throughout the United States of America. Yeah, we're paying for our own bondage. It just seems to be it's a little more ramped up here in California than it is in Idaho.
American exceptionalism, folks. You know, that's when we shoot off fireworks on the 4th of July and think we're special. It's got to be stopped.
Yes, that behavior has to be stopped. Cannot be tolerated.
But
No fun.
It's sneaking its way across every state of the union.
It's trying.
You know what I mean? Yes. And the only thing that's going to hold it back is the people. You know, if they will do their civic duty. But
Get off the couch. You know, quit munching on your Cheetos. Quit worrying about who's going to win the game today, or
Exactly.
if they still got beer down at the Quickie Mart.
If a third of the people that I hear griping all the time about the way things are would do something, amazing things would
And
probably happen.
we ran across a young lady the other night that she says, I don't vote because I don't think my
Right,
vote
yeah.
counts. Yeah, remember that?
Oh, yeah.
Ask
But-
John Missler.
But we did find out that gaming and free alcohol will probably get them out to listen to some candidates.
Might encourage them to vote.
We've been researching the young people of our community.
Yes, we have.
What would motivate them?
Party.
so you've been researching that.
Yes.
And what are you finding?
Well, we're finding that alcohol will draw them out, and specifically free alcohol will draw them out. And we're hoping that by osmosis, maybe if there happens to be a public figure making a speech at that particular moment that they're consuming alcohol, some of it might stick. I don't know. But maybe they'll start developing an interest in politics, because maybe the next day they're going to be telling their friend that they were at this event and they heard so-and-so speak about whatnot, and they're going to sound so impressive to their friend that they'll want more of that. They'll want to say, wow, it actually feels kind of good to be somewhat informed. Maybe I'll get some more of that.
But that
I
sure
like that
sounds like a
feeling.
Democratic ploy. Free,
Yep.
free,
Hey,
free.
you know what? We got to get down in the gutter. If
We gotta try something.
Well,
what we're doing isn't working.
you know, it's like Sunday night services at church, okay? They can never get nowhere near the amount of people there as they do have on Sunday morning. But if every third week you have potluck, then the attendance jumps dramatically.
Exactly.
So this
them
is
with
just
food.
human nature.
Well, and that's kind of our deal this year with this headquarters we've got is, you know what, let's have some parties, get some candidates out to speak. Basically, you're going to hold them hostage there while the candidate speaks, and maybe some of it will stick. We've got to do something. I mean, we've got to figure this out. And young people are just so disconnected from politics all the way around. I don't know where you start, really. We've got to figure something out.
But at your potlucks, is it always the same people bringing the food and always the same people
Cleaning
that are
up.
there just for the food?
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, not too much changes from
One to
month
the
to month and year to year. You know what I mean? So this is the way it's always been. Even in politics, it's just a minority that really moves and shakes in politics.
It's a
The
3%.
3%. That's why I have my 3%er shirts.
Yeah. So we have that as our opposition, and we have that as our team. You know,
Well, I'd like to see 3% of the millennials get dive in here and get wet.
yeah,
As
I'd like
Thomas said last week, they've been dipped in the progressive tank, right?
soup.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that-
I can't remember what I said last week.
they've been dipped in the progressive tank.
Yes,
Something like that.
Yes,
Something like how you say baptized in the swamp water.
Oh my God!
Similar to
Yes.
that.
yes.
Okay, I want to go over some of these concerns that the Sutter County Taxpayers Association President Pat Miller wrote this letter to the board members, and she brought up some very relevant concerns and asked these questions. And I don't know if there's an update to these questions, if they ever responded. But if we have an update, we'll let you know next week. So here's one. Her first concern was that this meeting. I'll read it the way she has it. That way I don't get it wrong. She says these are her concerns. It was stated at the July 12th Levy District 9 meeting that this would be an emergency meeting, which would not require the normal 72-hour notice for a public meeting. Since the meeting was in the works on July 12th and it was more than 2 weeks away from that date, we believe the meeting should be properly advertised as a public meeting. So it seems like they might have been trying to, conceal this topic of the meeting and pass it off by circumventing the public notice that would normally take place by calling it an emergency meeting, when clearly there was plenty of time to do the proper, adequate public noticing. And it seems like that step may have been circumvented. So we have that. Next, she says, we are concerned that the meeting will begin at 8 a.m. on a weekday morning, which will preclude many from attending. So, per our discussion we just had, these meetings are held at a time when normal contributing members of society cannot attend these meetings. There's a problem. Then it says, it was stated at the July meeting that the subject of the meeting was the establishment of a special benefit assessment district to expand the assessment areas of LD1 and LD9 and hold a 218 election to increase our property assessments. Please email us the agenda for that meeting so we know the issues that will be presented and voted on. The establishment of a new special benefit assessment district is an issue that should be widely publicized so citizens have an opportunity to hear what is planned and how it will affect them. Pretty reasonable. I mean, I think that's a pretty big deal. You're talking about dipping into our pockets, and we want to know what your justification is for that. And then lastly, it says Sutter County Taxpayers Association was promised in Sabufka's March 27 letter signed by Board Chairman Steve Lambert that we would be provided an opportunity to review the levy district's OMRR and Rs before they are put into place. To date, we have not received that information regarding the operation, maintenance, repair, whatever. Being considered
Rehabilitation and replacement for all those that aren't
Yes.
acronymed out yet.
Yeah, that is a challenging acronym. So, number of issues, and we're so glad that there are these proactive citizens in our community that keep an eye on these specific areas for us. And we're here as a vehicle to try and spread that information to the rest of the general public that wouldn't normally be reached. So. The important thing to pull out of this is that the meeting that this is going to be discussed at is on August 6th. So it's August 6th at the Sutter County Board of Supervisors chambers starting at 8 a.m., the most inconvenient. So yeah, it's regarding raising your taxes. So I would encourage people to show up to that meeting and see what they have to say and why they think they need to be raising our taxes.
Also, isn't it about extending the region? Maybe out to Sutter?
All the way out to Sutter, yes.
Yeah.
Well, regionalism is the name of the game, right? Under the Agenda 21 program. Now, I was driving down Butte House Road yesterday and drove by a building that says Regional Housing Authority. Okay? So when I got home, I decided to look up the Regional Housing Authority. on the website. You know.
Sounds pretty damn official, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. And I contemplated every word. Okay, and it's quite interesting when you do that. You know, regional, meaning this area that's been regioned off. Okay, region has a certain boundary. Okay, housing, so that has to do with everybody's place where they're going to stay. And authority, that's the one I really liked. They are the authority.
Not long, they're going to be recalled enforcement here pretty soon.
So on their website, it says everyone deserves a home. Okay, everyone deserves a home.
Is that a human right now?
It's an American right, I guess. So for me, I believe this: everyone deserves a home that's willing to work for it.
Yeah.
Well, and if you're
Yeah.
willing to work for it and you can buy a home, then you need to be able to buy two homes so the person who's not willing to work for it can get a home too.
Right.
So that's
that's their program.
That's their mentality.
exactly.
So it was definitely interesting to skim through their website. I also skimmed through the Sutter County Superintendent of Schools website, and I thought that was interesting too. They posted they have their salaries posted, and then they have a 55-page plan of attack, I should say, for or their itinerary. So I skimmed all 55 pages of that. I didn't read it word for. I read a lot of it, and then I skimmed the rest of it. But I hit every page. So the bottom line for me is when I'm looking at that is individualism or government oversight on every nitpicking thing that's going on.
Yeah. We've come a long way from life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness.
Yeah.
Now they want the right to a home. You have a right to pursue having a home, but you don't have a right to somebody giving you that home.
Yeah. You got to get busy and go to work.
Yeah.
That's the bottom line. So
Well, and ultimately,
I mean-
when the government gives something to someone, right, they're taking it from somebody else.
sure, because they don't earn
Because they
anything.
don't have anything.
Government doesn't produce anything but taxes, fees, regulations, statutes, all the things that take away our liberty.
But here's the thing. So I'm on their website and I can see their banner, their leading banner. at the
Regional
head-
Housing
Yep,
Authority? Mhm.
Sutter County. I'm sorry, not. It is Regional Housing Authority. It says because everyone deserves a home. But apparently now we've learned that not only do they deserve a home, but we also need to furnish it for them. So apparently now,
Everybody
Yes.
deserves new furniture vouchers.
that's right.
Yeah.
Because furniture vouchers, guess what? We would have never known that. We would have never
Except
known that.
Jason's involved in that.
Yeah, except that his
yeah.
development,
I'm not involved in it.
No, but
give me that.
you're seeing it take place. I
Exactly.
should
it
say
takes
this.
place
Yes.
under the projects that you develop.
Yes.
So yeah, it's a real thing. It's happening.
Oh yeah.
Furniture vouchers for Lazy Boy. Taxpayers are not only giving them a home that apparently they deserve, we're also having to furnish that home.
And fill up the refrigerator.
Yep.
So it goes back to public-private partnership, right? Mm-hmm. And what that is the definition of fascism:
Yep.
public-private partnership, and we see that over and over and over everywhere we turn. PG&E. I mean, I say they're an entity of the state because they. I mean, I can't open a PG&E bill without some kind of welfare handout in there that it's talking about. You know how they want to provide welfare, and so they're in bed with the state. The PUC never denies them a rate increase, right? At the same time, the what is it? The Air Resources Board demand that they get all these new clean vehicles. So, I mean, it's a vicious circle, right? They go to the state, say, well, we got to have new vehicles. Well, you got to have a rate increase, and on and on and on the circle goes, right?
Yeah.
So us in the public sector, in the private sector, we have to just keep on chasing the dollar.
And that's why they know, Thomas, that those people will not be able to attend an 8 a.m. meeting or a 3 p.m. meeting. You just nailed it.
Yeah.
It's on purpose. This is planned.
Yeah.
It's deliberate.
Yeah.
And they know exactly what they're doing.
All right, we got to take a break real quick. We'll be right back. 2 minutes.
This is Yuba County Sheriff Steve Durfer. I fully endorse Captain Brandon Barnes to be your next Sutter County Sheriff. I've worked with Captain Barnes for over 20 years. Brandon is a graduate of the prestigious FBI National Academy. He was our former SWAT commander and chief of investigations and now holds one of the highest positions in law enforcement as jail commander. He leads and manages a staff of over 80 personnel and an inmate population of almost 400. Folks, your sheriff is the top law enforcement officer in the county. Experience and character are critical. That's why 13 active California county sheriffs, including myself, endorse him. I am beyond confident that Captain Barnes has the skills, the temperament, and the vision to lead Sutter County. I believe this is the most important vote on your ballot. I encourage you to vote Brandon Barnes for Sutter County Sheriff.
Paid for by Brandon Barnes for Sutter County Sheriff 2018.
All right, we are back. We gave Dennis Houck his soundbite. You know, we are still running a campaign, and it's starting to come back. So we wanted to give Brandon Barnes his ad, and then the ad that we made up for Dennis Houck for free. We did that for free for him.
You are
And-
so generous.
I know.
Honestly.
Well, you have to do it for him because he really, really, really wants to be sheriff.
Yes, he does. He really wants to be. And, you know, I did use some of those Kleenex that he sent out, but not nearly the whole box. So we'll send him back. We're going to just send him a truckload whenever it comes to this next race for the
Hey,
November
I
5th
could use
election.
some of that Kleenex if you got some left.
I got some left. I
Because-
only got a box, but I'm going to send him a case.
When my grandkids are in the pool, you know, their noses are running snotty all the time.
Well, yeah, I'm telling
That's
you.
what their shirt's for.
It'll be
They're
interesting.
not wearing a shirt in the pool normally.
It'll be interesting to see how much he loses by. I have a feeling it's going to be a landslide.
So, unfortunately, we're not done talking with our tax topic because there's always more taxes that they want to propose out there. So, in addition to your levy assessment, they want to add to your taxes. There's another sales tax coming down the pipe, I guess, from Yuba County.
We want to share equally, right? Yuba County, Sutter County.
And also Yuba City are proposing that.
No, they pulled
right?
it. They pulled
Oh, they
that.
pulled it, huh?
Well, what I want to know is why,
good.
if we hate paying taxes so bad, why do we pay them?
Because you go to jail if you don't.
Oh, is that it?
Yeah.
Yes,
So
they
it's
take you
really
to jail.
it's really not like a voluntary tax then. It's more like they're putting a gun to your head and saying you're going to pay this and you're going to buy this person, you're going to get this person free furniture vouchers. You're going to give this person this, you're going to give that person that because we're putting this gun to your head and if you don't do it, we're going to put you in jail and send your whole family into poverty.
Yes, like my pastor says, you know, if you don't want to pay it, you can have a prison ministry. So, and that, you know, that pretty much sums it up, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's voluntary. They'll just ruin your life if you don't
either
volunteer.
you're going to pay the man or you're going to work for the man. But either way, you're going to do this.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, got you. Okay, just want to make sure.
So, what about the Sutter County? The Yuba County tax, Tammy. What's up with
I
that?
think Bill was going to give us a heads up on that because he's the one always visiting the BOS meetings, the Board of Supervisor meetings.
Well, it's at 9 o'clock in the morning. It's hard to get there sometimes, and especially on Tuesdays because being a retired senior citizen and on a fixed income, I go out and try to increase my value mostly Tuesdays.
And once you cross over the river, you got to dodge all those grocery carts and those potholes.
I know it's tough.
They're here too.
They're loaded. But yeah, Yuba County wants to throw out a 1% sales tax for safety. That's fire and sheriff. there's no end to it. I don't know. From what I understand, Charlie Matthews has got another initiative coming up to take some of that Yuba Water Agency. They're no longer their official name is Yuba County Water Agency, but their illegal name is Yuba Water Agency because they don't want to be associated publicly with the county. So anyway,
Bill, wasn't there an initiative that was going to be on the ballot and then it mysteriously was not on the ballot?
Somehow they interposed. The Yuba County Water Agency 7 board member interposed between the people and their right to vote. And I don't find anywhere in the California Election Code law that allows that. So I think we might have some criminals on our hands.
I don't think that's the interposition that I'm aware of.
That's not what we're looking for.
Interposition from constitutionally means that they're to interpose on behalf of the people.
Securing your right to vote, not taking away your right to vote. They just got it backwards.
To stop any kind of tyranny or what I would say, petty tyranny.
I don't think they meant it that way. But that 1% sales tax, did you say that was for...
the children. Won't somebody please think of the children?
Was that what it's for?
For the children.
Well, it's like someone who goes and blows their whole paycheck at the casino and then comes home and cries to mom and dad, "Oh, I can't go and buy milk for my babies, for your grandchildren." Well, maybe if you would have been a little more responsible with the money you did have, you wouldn't be standing here with your hand out again.
Play better slot machines.
Hey, I heard a country music song along that line the other day. So I thought it was good.
Sing it, Tom. Let's hear it.
I can't remember. The wife was going to turn her home into a casino.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure you know that song,
I think
right?
the Reicherts have done that.
Yeah.
Check it out. You know what? There used to be one where she was going to turn her house into a bar.
Yes, that's the song.
That's the song. Okay.
Yeah.
That's an old one.
Yeah, I heard that on the radio
John
this week.
Connolly or something. That's an old one.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. How do we get off chasing that rabbit?
I don't know, but my house is beginning to look like a casino.
So Sutter County, 1% tax more. Okay.
No,
Yuba
Yuba County.
Yeah.
Yuba County. And you say, Liz, that Yuba City has rescinded the idea they were going to bless us with all these improvements, right?
Yeah.
By taking more of our money. Remember that?
Oh, yes.
When you went on their website, they had a little survey.
Yeah.
Maybe the survey results were just dismal to them.
Well, they said, well, don't you want better roads?
Yes.
Don't you want 911 to show up when you call?
Yes.
Don't you want better,
Safe paths for your children to go to school.
Yeah.
What they should have said is, don't you want us to have another pay raise?
That's right.
Don't you want us, our pensions, our over-the-top, ridiculous pensions to be funded, right?
Yes.
And don't you want us to have more bells and whistles and banners and fun and office parties and whatever in the heck else they do down there?
And don't you want us to continue to be wasteful with your capital improvement projects because it's not our money and we could care less?
Yes.
We have to
So-
we work less when we don't have to keep such a close eye on your money.
And on and on and on, right? The
On
beat
and
goes
on.
on. Okay, so where are we?
So that's what we're here for. So maybe it was partly because of our discussion about the taxes that it was pulled for this time. But what they'll do is they'll wait until they think people aren't paying attention, and they'll try to reintroduce it at that point. So guess what? I don't think we're going anywhere. And we'll always be there to be the thorn in your side to keep bringing these issues to light.
Well, the older you get, the more you realize how corrupt it is. You know, because I look back when I was in my 20s, and I was pretty much clueless to it. I mean, a little bit involved, but was not really recognizing the magnitude of the ripoff program. And the older you get, the more you realize it's all
The
encompassing.
deeper it gets into your pocket.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Well, just do a little, just take a good look at other states and like where I'm going in Idaho. My property taxes are going to be under $1,000 a year. And my car licenses are going to be $65 a year. And gas is going to be about $1 less a gallon.
and what are the roads like?
They're fantastic.
Yeah.
And they're clean.
Yeah. And what are our roads like?
Not so
Crap.
fantastic.
Yeah. I mean,
They're crumbling.
drive down Fifth Street in Marysville, coming over the Fifth Street Bridge. I mean, you want? I seen a guy going down Butte House Road on a Razor the other day, and I thought, that he's got the right idea. He need an all-terrain vehicle.
Well, listen to this. In Mackey, where we're going, in Chalice, you can ride legally those from your house, go down to the town, and that's no problem. Just can't ride them on the interstate. But you can ride
Yeah.
them on all the roads.
So my wife said to me when this guy was riding down Butte House Road on a Razor, isn't that illegal?
Only if you get caught.
Exactly. That's where I was going with that.
Yeah.
Only if you get caught.
Or if you have 2 palm trees in your backyard.
Yes.
But you don't.
Then you can still got an appeals board that you get to go to.
All right, so when's that happening? When's that appeals board?
The 6th, the 2nd, this Thursday.
This Thursday.
Thursday.
What time?
I don't
I think
even
it's
know.
I think it's 9 a.m.
Okay,
Yeah,
so you have to
9 a.m.
take off work,
Uh-huh.
right?
Uh-huh. Oh, yeah. After I paid the fine, then
Is
I gotta
this
take off
open to
work.
the public?
Yes, it is.
Yes, we're
Oh.
having a fundraiser. Weren't you here last week? We're
Yeah,
selling
we're having
a
a
corn and
fundraiser.
soda.
I was here.
You have to pay the fine to be heard.
Yes.
Yes.
But now,
Well, you have to pass it to find out what's in it.
exactly. But I mean, you know what? It's all good because it's actually well worth it. I mean, we've been using this story, and now we get to go to City Hall and voice our opinion. And I'm really wondering. It's not a jury. It's not a court. It's just basically an arbitrator that the city picks. So how are they going to find in my favor is what I would like to know, because right now they have no proof. And all I want to see is the evidence against me. And if they've got none, I want my money back.
Is this a legal entity that they have? It's
It's a kangaroo court, obviously.
It's code enforcement.
Yeah, it's a kangaroo court. There is no judge. There is no jury. There's no nothing.
Maybe David Joyce will be.
I mean,
The only way it could be better is if they made me go back to Britain to do the arbitration.
yeah, on a slave ship
Yeah.
back to Britain.
That's about the only difference that we're seeing here. It's really ought to be interesting. So if nothing else, we're going to learn how the process works and how corrupt the actual thing is. So it's going to be very interesting, and it's going to be Facebook Live. So I mean, it ought to be a lot of fun, actually.
it's
and-
going to be Facebook Live.
Oh yeah,
Oh wow.
I got a hair appointment that morning, and I'm going to make sure the whole salon. Lots happens when you're getting your hair done.
Yep. Yes, everybody tune in.
Oh, this will be awesome. I'm excited. I mean, it ought to be a lot of fun. And I mean, we're getting you would not believe the calls during the week and everything else we're getting out of this thing. When is it? What's going on? How is this? I thought, it was a real ticket. You had to go to court. Nope, no court, just an appeals board. So,
Jim Whitaker was supposed to appear before an arbitration board, and I found out the acronym. And at first, I thought that the person that was sharing it with me was saying the PERV board, which would be a great acronym for dirty wit, right? The PERV board. No. It's PERB as in boy.
Yes.
Yes, I'm glad I found that out. Thank you.
So Chris Starkey just texted me and he said he will definitely be there. He can't wait. He runs One Eye Blind Media. He does all of our uploads and takes care of us on our Facebook page for some of our graphics on our Facebook page. Does a really good job for us. But it ought to be funny with him being there, because you never know. I may end up with a little fox nose and some fox ears, or maybe the arbitrator will.
What's the acronym for your kangaroo court? The crap board?
There you go.
The CRAP.
Yeah.
And everybody will just be
KRAP.
coming in from the mushroom field
Exactly.
after we've been spread,
Yeah.
kept in the darkness.
So what would they have done to you if you didn't pay it? I mean, what are they going to do?
Well, then it actually, I think, goes to a court, and then you get a bench warrant order
warrant?
and all that good stuff. So I don't want to go through that, but I am anxious to go through the kangaroo
Yeah.
court and see what happens there. That ought to be fun.
Oh, I just see this.
But I
as-
just want to see the evidence. That's all I want to see is the evidence. Because the fact is I have no palm trees. The two that he's talking about are not in my yard.
Yeah.
So how does that work? I didn't move them overnight, I promise. They're a little bit big for that. And my pool.
Well, they're close enough.
Well, my pool deck goes right up to them, but then there's a fence.
Right.
And then they're in my next door neighbor's yard. And I asked him, I said,
So
why don't
you
you come
say-
back in here and look? And he said, you don't want to go there. Okay, well, why not? I mean, this is your evidence, and they're not in my yard, bro. But hey, whatever. We'll talk about it at the kangaroo.
Now, I'm going to read Article 5 of the Bill of Rights
Okay.
for you. Okay. No person shall be held to answer for a capital or otherwise infamous crime unless on a presentment or indictment of a grand jury, except in cases arising in the land or naval forces or in the militia, when in actual service in time of war or public danger. Nor shall any person be subject for the same offense to be twice put in jeopardy of life or limb. Nor shall he be compelled, or excuse me, it doesn't say he, nor shall be compelled in any criminal case to be a witness against himself, nor be deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process of law, nor shall private property be taken for public use without just compensation. So I just wanted to reiterate that to you. You don't have to be a witness against yourself. Remember that.
Yeah, I didn't plan on being a witness to against myself.
Yeah.
I really didn't.
Yes.
But also, it's I don't know. Read what is it, 9? Read
Eight.
9. 8. Read 8.
Okay,
Article
so
8.
Amendment 8 is excessive bail shall not be required, nor excessive fines imposed, nor cruel and unusual punishment inflicted. So
Now I
would-
can be doing 100 miles an hour in my vet and not get a $1,000 ticket. Now that's endangering other people's lives and other things like that. A firework that wasn't mine, that isn't mine, I didn't launch. Now, realistically, think about it. Is that excessive?
Yes.
yeah,
$1,000 bucks?
$1,000.
So if that's excessive, then they're violating the Constitution,
Yep, the Eighth Amendment.
Eighth Amendment right there, aren't they?
Excessive fines imposed.
So they violated my Eighth Amendment right.
There is one in here that says something about anything over $25 too. I can't remember where that is.
Something about having a jury trial.
Well,
Yeah.
every one of those people ought to go to Tammy's Constitution class on August 25th and tell them, hey, you know what? Let's make this a wash. You keep my money, but you send your entire staff to Tammy's meeting.
Oh, cha-ching. I
That
like
would be
that.
amazing.
I'd be all about it.
That
So,
would be amazing.
but here's... oh, this is unbelievable. Here's the other thing is if you've got to be indicted by a grand jury, we don't even get to see those reports, so I'm good.
Are we to the grand jury yet? Are we at that portion of our segment?
Yeah, that's coming up.
Okay, because
No.
I'm loaded for bear with that one.
Yeah, well, we don't want to. But
got
since
4
you
more
brought
minutes.
up the Constitution class, we'll give that a plug because we're short on time.
Yes.
So August 25th, it's a 6-hour seminar from 9 to 3. It's going to be up at the Church of Glad Tidings off Eager Road, right off Highway 99. Super easy to get to. It's in Building 500 upstairs in room 210 and 212. Come learn a little bit about the Constitution. Now, it's a really condensed course. It's not thorough. It's an overview. It begins with pretty much the foundations of where we come from, because you got to understand the foundation before you understand the context of what the Constitution was written in, so you can fully understand the significance of every single word in there is deliberate. every single phrase is so deliberate, and it does not take an individual with a law degree to understand it. Any person can understand the Constitution if you read it.
No.
Yes.
So
No.
Ron Solinger, we're looking forward to seeing you there. That's August 25th.
August 25th. And I wouldn't even say I teach the Constitution. I give people an opportunity to read the Constitution for yourself.
Is there a cost?
For this one, it's free to attend if you want the accompanying literature that comes with it. I believe it's $25. Yeah, it's $25 for the student manual that comes along with it. But you don't necessarily have to have the student manual. You can come and listen for free, but $25 for the student manual would be what the cost would be if you decide to get the material.
Well, maybe if you offered free alcohol, you could get some progressives there. But
I
it's
al-
at GT. We can't have
It's at GT. I do offer free food. I do feed
Oh, we
the
get
people.
snacks?
You get a lunch.
Oh, that's pretty
Really?
awesome, too.
Yeah. Yeah, I cater these when I host them over at Glad Tidings. I will do in the past, if it's during the winter, I've done chili and cornbread.
Pulled pork
yeah, the
and-
last one we did pulled pork sandwiches. So I pick something that's kind of easy to make a ton of because inevitably I try to get people to sign up so that I know how many people I'm going to be feeding, but that never happens consistently. So I always have to make a plethora of food to make sure that the people that just show up and don't tell me they're showing up, I have plenty. I don't ever want to be short.
I can bring cowboy beans and a potato salad for you.
Oh, that's amazing.
You know what?
I've
Just
never-
bring the cobbler.
Yes, the cobbler.
Cowboy beans.
Yeah.
Well,
You're-
they're good.
I'm sure that they are, but is that politically correct? I mean, to say cowboy beans?
You betcha.
You're probably hurting them.
You're hurting half the population's feelings.
As long as you got Indian cornbread, you're
Oh,
fine.
but there you go.
Wow.
I'm going to bring you a writ of habeas corpus.
Okay, you better bring it in quick because we're leaving for 5 minutes, and I'm just going to shut my mouth because anything I say from here is going to be bad.
Roll us out.
Roll us out. We got 30 seconds.
Did we play?
Oh,
the
no,
Marcus song?
I'm just, that was what I was going to bring to your,
Well, I'll say this.
your potluck, a writ of habeas corpus.
Oh.
So, and you know what that is,
You
right?
have 10 seconds.
The writ of habeas corpus is you have to make the accusation or let the defendant go. You know,
Oh.
And you've also got the right to face your accusers, correct?
yes, you do.
Well, we're going to see how that works out. All right, we'll be back in 5 minutes. Well, I know what MAGA means now.
I never heard that song until now.
Play
Well,
the MAGA song.
That's not Lee Greenwood, is it?
No.
No.
Do you know what MAGA stands for, Tom?
Of course I do.
What is it?
Liz just told me.
Okay. See, that's where I got it from, too. Tammy was in here and goes, you got to play the MAGA song. And I'm like, MAGA song? What the heck is the MAGA song? I thought she was doing like that, I don't know, something from the 80s.
You know, Carl would say that,
Hajagugu?
Yeah, there you go.
my poor Carl has called me Mag the Hag, so it could be the MAGA song, Mag the Hag.
Why?
So make America great again.
Yeah.
That's what it
Yes.
stands for.
MAGA.
MAGA, not MAGA.
So I said, and he goes, you mean Trump? I'm like, yeah, Trump, the song about Trump. Oh, well, you should have said that.
Yeah.
I was like, I did. I said the MAGA song.
Hey,
And I'm looking at you going, really? Okay.
I hung my head because I thought you were playing Lee Greenwood, you know, and he's got that part in his song that says, "I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free," you know,
Yeah.
and I'm thinking, that's gone way downhill, buddy. Yeah,
Hey,
we
well-
don't have the freedom that we're supposed to have in America.
That's right.
We don't.
Well, let's go
Yes.
get it.
And we all need to do our part. our county needs to do our part to make our county great again, to make California great again, to make America great again. It's the ripple effect. So what we're doing locally here, and this is some good news finally from all the depressing news about taxes, we have some very good news about our Republican headquarters that we've just secured and we're starting to set up. And it's
Every Friday and Saturday night, there's going to be illegal fireworks.
And free booze.
Constitutional Republican headquarters.
Yes.
And gaming.
Yep, it is the Yuba Sutter Constitutional Republicans has secured a headquarters, and we will be partnering with the other Republicans in the area. So although we're hosting it, we are definitely wanting to work together with our local Republicans from both counties and, heck, surrounding counties. Whoever wants to join our party, come join our party.
Now, isn't there what do they call that? A cover fee?
Well, no, not necessarily.
When you want to come in the door?
It depends on what we're doing. So we have scheduled our first event, our first fundraising event, and it's August 9th. So
That's also our grand opening night. That's the first time we'll actually be open
yeah,
to the public to come in, unless you want to come in and volunteer and help out. Then you
because
can come in before then.
The next 2 weeks, it's going to be all hands on deck for the Yuba Sutter Constitutional Republicans, for the Sutter County Central Committee, for the Yuba County Republicans. Everybody who's going to have a stake in this headquarters needs to show up this week, every day, Monday through Friday from 4 to 8, because we have painting to do. We're going to be, building displays, and Jason has been building casino tables, and we've been buying casino tables. We've been,
Why would we want casino tables?
because we have big plans.
Have you ever heard of a Monte Carlo night?
I have.
I used to own a Monte Carlo.
Not the Cholo.
Yeah, 1980s piece of junk.
I love my 74 Monte Carlo.
Oh, 74,
Had the
okay.
swivel seats.
There
Oh,
you
that
go.
was a nice
But in
car.
the 80s, remember those?
You had it all pimped out.
Remember the Chrysler
Swivel
K
chairs.
cars?
That was
It
stock.
came with it,
Swivel
yeah.
chairs, stock.
Yep.
Did you know Starsky and Hutch?
It's a Monte Carlo, man.
That's right.
Hello, rider. Right?
All right.
like
Back
that song.
to the Republican headquarters.
Okay.
So our goal is to host these Monte Carlo night type of events as fundraisers, and we're going to keep these gaming tables there for the entire campaign season, so that they're already set up, they're already ready to go. But that's the reason why we sought out this particular location. It's located at 441 Bridge Street. It used to be the old Dave's shoe store, but it's wide open. There's no, walls in there to cut it all up, because we needed, to be able to have this kind of setup to where you have all these gaming tables set up. And it's a place to where we're going to invite, different candidates on certain nights. And what we were talking about last week is we're going to be funding these events for the candidates, so that all of the funds that are raised through that fundraiser goes directly to that candidate. The whole thing goes to their campaign. It's not to where half of it needs to pay for the event to take place. We're going to be donating everything so that they can get the full benefit of that fundraiser. So as I said, our first event to kick it off is August 9th. It's a wine and dessert campaign fundraiser. Now, we think we might be able to do a dry run of our Monte Carlo night. We're not sure, because we're really under the gun as far as building. Jason's got his craps table almost built. He almost had it built this morning.
And here's the thing. I don't know if how many people have been to Monte Carlo nights or not, but whenever you do this, we want it to be as close to Vegas or Reno as it can be. So, you're going to come in, you're going to purchase your chips, and then there's no real winnings. There's nothing going on. It's just fun to gamble.
So it's just like Reno.
Yeah. Exactly. You're going to lose. Make no doubt about it.
Well, we'll give out fun prizes.
Yeah.
But it's.
But the really cool thing about it is we need dealers, so we've got to train some dealers for the roulette. We got to train dealers for the craps. We got to make sure that our blackjack dealers are up to speed, that our poker dealers are up to speed, because we're going to play all 4 games. It ought to be a lot of fun. I've been to a few, And the big thing about it is normally whenever you do this, it's about $1,500 to get a real team to come out and put on a Monte Carlo night.
And
So if
bring
we
all
can
the
do this
equipment.
if we can do this for the candidates that we're backing for free, and then do a little cover charge to where every bit of the money goes to them, it's like getting 20 Monte Carlo nights wrapped up for the price of one, so each candidate isn't out all that money. And that's pretty much going to be the theme at the Republican headquarters and the Yuba Sutter Political Spotlight headquarters, is that it is going to be a Monte Carlo themed year there. Now, 2 years from now, we may do something different, but this time around, it's going to be Monte Carlo night. Every time we do a candidate meet and greet or a candidate event, it's going to be Monte Carlo night. So it ought to be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to it because I love to play craps. I mean,
I think that we should have a cover charge of at least $2. Now, you can forego the cover charge if you can at least give one item out of the First Amendment.
Yes, one of the 5.
Yes, one of the 5 that are in
No,
the First Amendment.
3 out of 5 is good.
You say 3 out of
Let's
5.
make them work for it.
Yeah.
So I'm going to put them out there just so everyone can hear them again. Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech, or of the press, or of the right of the people peaceably to assemble and to petition the government for a redress of grievances. So you say 3 out of 5, Bill? I think that's good.
3 out of 5. yeah.
Should be able to get 3 out of 5.
You would think.
And
You
if
would
you don't
think.
get it, you got to pay $2.
So, Tammy, have you wrapped that up yet? Because
I know you got something to move on to with regards to that subject, but let me wrap up our event. So the first event, the two of our state Republican candidates, we have Mark Muser, or actually, how did she pronounce it? No, I called the campaign scheduler, and I think she said Muser, or I don't know. Anyway, I'm calling him Mark Muser. I don't know how else to pronounce his name. He's running for Secretary of State. He's the Republican candidate for the California State Secretary. Then we're getting a double whammy here because we're also getting the Republican candidate for the state controller, and his name is Roditis. And
Constantine. How can you not?
Roditis.
Yes, how can you not win with a name like Constantine?
I can't even
That's
pronounce
nails.
it.
Yes, you can.
No, yeah.
That guy's badass. I'm sure he is.
So,
Yep. So they seem like, I visited both their web pages, and they seem like really amazing people. But they're actually engaged in a bike tour right now, and they're visiting all 58 counties in California. And Mark started way before. Constantine, or Roditis, had just joined up July. Was it 1st? I don't know.
Is Constantine from Constantinople?
he's from
sorry.
conservative California.
Nobody's got a bad case of rhoditis.
It's Constantinos. That's what it is.
Constantinos.
Constantinos. So
Okay.
he actually is joining the tour on July 31st.
Are they riding motorcycles or
No,
bicycles?
Bicycles. They're riding
Okay.
bicycles. And we have found out that Mark Muser has not ridden in a car this entire time.
Wow.
Does not get in a car. He rides his bike from every location. So he's been on his bike since July 9th is when Mark started, and July 31st, Constantinos joins him. So they're going to be rolling into our location approximately somewhere around 8:30 on that night. We're going to start our fundraiser at 7. So we're going to have some fun before they get there. But we might do a dry run for our Monte Carlo night. Here's the thing, though. You're going to be able to learn how to play these games. Like craps and roulette, I'd never had a lot of experience with those. I was kind of nervous, going to the casino and trying those out. But this is an opportunity to learn it, and you don't have, big money at stake. Initially, our tickets at the door are going to be $10 to participate in this fundraiser, and then we're hoping, that through your, being there, you might want to donate additional monies to these two campaigns. But wine and dessert will be provided for sure, and maybe dry run for that Monte Carlo night theme. 441 Bridge Street, Suite E for Elephant.
right next to
Where-
Comcast.
I'm curious, where are these guys riding their bicycles from that day? Los Angeles?
No, they're coming into Marysville. There'll probably be a group meet at the corner there.
It's
They're riding from Marysville to
Yeah,
Yuba City?
that's it.
Hey, well, they're
come
right
on.
into Marysville.
No.
They're
Okay,
coming in
okay.
from Grass Valley.
yes, Grass Valley is
Yeah.
where they're coming from.
It's
that
still
day.
not very far. It's
They're
all
riding
downhill.
from Grass
Hey.
Valley?
It
Yes.
is if you're on a bicycle. Trust me.
That's all downhill, man.
That's where I was at.
Only when it's uphill.
I'm not cutting them no slack.
Maybe I'll go
Hey.
up there and ride that stretch with them. I mean, it's all downhill.
I'll
Ride
get
my
pictures.
motorcycle next.
You can visit our web pages for more information. You can email me, tjrikard, spelled RIKARD, at gmail.com for to sign up to attend that fundraiser. August 9th.
Okay, so to tack on to, we look forward to seeing everybody there too. Don't be shy. We love y'all. You don't have to be a Republican to come. You just have to come with your $10.
That's right.
And look, we're tagging on to what Tom was speaking about, the First Amendment. We're going to go back to Roger Sherman, and he's a unique founding father. He was the only one that signed all 4 founding American documents. And the first founding American document is something you don't hear about very often. It's called the Continental Association of 1774. And that was sort of like the first complaint they sent to King George, but they didn't slap him around or tell him how bad he was. You know, they try to get up there and call him honorable, like all these whining crybabies do at the Board of Supervisors meeting, when they're obviously most of them aren't honorable.
Amen to that, Bill.
And anyway, in 1774 they sent that out. Didn't do any good. So in 1776 they sent out the Declaration of Independence with their 27 grievances, telling just what they really thought of him and all of his laws and his officers and his all the eating out of their substances, as Thomas likes to say, and he also signed the Articles of Confederation, which was the first attempt at a sovereign government here. That they found out that just didn't give the federal government enough power. So in 1791, they all conformed and agreed to the Constitution of the United States, and it stood for 242 years since. And one of the
But it's been totally debased in our lifetime.
No, well, we're working to undebase it. Yeah. So he passed away. He was from Connecticut. He passed away on July 23rd, 1793, and his famous is said, "Sad will be the day when American people forget their traditions and their history, and no longer remember that the country they love, the institutions they cherish, and the freedom they hope to preserve were born from the throes of an armed resistance to tyranny and nursed in the rugged arms of fearless men." And that's sad will be the day, and here we are.
Now that's some beautiful
That is
literature
some
right
beautiful
there,
words.
huh?
These people had a way with words. Now, he was also notable. He proposed the Great Compromise, the bicameral Congress, where we have congressmen
And senators.
and senators. Yeah, and senators at one time were appointed by the state legislatures, and unfortunately, the 17th Amendment. 19th Amendment, no, 17th Amendment.
They corrupted the
Corrupted it,
Constitution.
yep. And now we elect them by Democrat.
Can you read that one little section again? The rugged arms.
I want to play something, and it's in there what I'm going to play, so we can hear it again. Hang on, I'm going to play this real
This week, we honor the passing of Founding Father Roger Sherman of Connecticut, who went on to eternity on July 23, 1793. I'm reminded of the statement that this giant of a man made regarding the past and present of our miraculous republic. Sad will be the day when the American people forget their traditions and their history and no longer remember that the country they love, the institutions they cherish, and the freedom they hope to preserve were born from the throes of armed resistance to tyranny and nursed in the rugged arms of fearless men. This past weekend, I had the great privilege of speaking at a home educators convention in St. Louis, Missouri. It was an encouraging and wonderful opportunity to talk with parents and students who are grateful for accurate history and the restoration of constitutional governance. Although the numbers are growing, these parents and students still seem to be the minority, while the majority of education in America is a fulfillment of the sad day Roger Sherman expressed. However, Sherman himself had numerous sad and challenging days. Overwhelmingly, his neighbors and fellow colonists were apathetic, at best, about the separation with Great Britain. As an American, a patriot, and a Christian, Sherman labored to reverse this trend, declaring,
"Government is instituted for those who live under it. Let us live no more to ourselves, but to him who loved us and gave himself to die for us."
Sherman did not only give this advice, but followed it. He was a member of the church pastored by the son of Great Awakening preacher Jonathan Edwards, and worked tirelessly for independence, and even harder to establish constitutional government that would secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity. Perhaps his most notable accomplishment was the solution he proposed at the Constitutional Convention, known as the Great Compromise. This brought a much-needed solution to the representation problem in Congress. The large states wanted proportionate representation, but small states wanted equal representation. Therefore, Roger Sherman suggested a bicameral Congress with a House comprised of representatives based on population of the states and a Senate giving each state equal representation of 2 senators, thus saving the Constitutional Convention and probably the Union. Known to few, he was a member of the Committee of Five, selected to draft the Declaration of Independence, and credited by Thomas Jefferson as having never said a foolish thing in his life. Sherman alone was among the patriots of the American Revolution who signed all 4 documents which gradually assigned sovereignty to the new United States: the Continental Association of 1774, the Declaration of Independence, the Articles of Confederation, and the United States Constitution. In the words of John Adams, Sherman was an old Puritan, as honest as an angel, and as firm in the cause of American independence as Mount Atlas. I think you'll agree that it's time we start expecting our current leaders to be filled with this type of selfless character and love for liberty. This is Jake McCauley with the Institute on the Constitution, bringing you the American View.
You know what they say, expect in one hand and fill the other one up full of...
Yeah. That's a very good point, that we should expect that from our leaders, that they have that kind of selfless character and love of liberty.
Yeah, that was very well done by Jake McCauley.
Yeah.
Can you
Institute
name
on the
one leader, one local leader we have right now that has any of those qualities? I mean, I don't care, just one.
I don't know of any of them. Nobody.
Stephanie McKenzie.
Okay. Yeah, I'll give you that. Marysville City Council. One you can think of right off the top of your head. One out of all the elected people that we have in this area in both counties, supervisors, city council, everything, you can name one that's got some qualities.
I think Tammy nailed it.
That's a sad state of affairs.
I know Stan Cleveland can't measure up to that.
No way.
Not at all.
And John Buckland, he wants to go to a basketball game, man. You want something done in this town, send him to a basketball game, and stuff happens.
Sweet life.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's a sad state of affairs whenever you can't name more than one elected person in your area. And we have 2 areas nearby
Yes.
that you think that little of. That's just, it's sad. But anyways, moving on.
Can we lead into that for the grand jury report? Just
Yes, let's
go there.
current
get
affairs.
on to that. Sure.
Well, basically, we don't have a whole lot, but we did have a meeting on Thursday night with the Yuba Sutter constitutional Republicans, and there was a lot of people there that seemed to have a great interest in getting that report out.
And a lot of knowledge.
Yes.
A lot of knowledge showed up. Former grand jurors showed up. I mean,
yeah.
Excellent.
Well, the next morning I called the administration office at Sutter County and had an interesting talk with the county administrator who relayed to me that all 5 of those supervisors were outraged that that report had not been published. I'm like, are you kidding me? Because I haven't heard that. Not from a single one of them.
Nope.
No.
Not a single
They
one.
hide their outrage well, don't they? They're in control all the time.
That just pissed me off, man. I was so angry at that because not one of them can do the right thing by the people. That the people that put them into that office. And you just remember in November.
Well, I think the people need to take their responsibility too. You know what I mean? And get up and speak up and say, hey, that report belongs to the people. So,
Yes.
Well, we learned a little something Thursday night that for the preliminary report to be sent out, it had to be signed, according to former grand jurors.
Yeah. Because the meeting was attended by former grand jurors, by an individual who is in the position of training grand jurors prior to them taking their positions. But so what we learned a little bit about the process was that the grand jury does in fact sign the report prior to it being released to the various departments that have the subjects respective to their department, and which is contrary to what we've been told.
That's right.
Because we've been told that the report was not signed by the grand jury, and yet we know that those reports were sent to the various departments that pertain to their, to each their respective departments. So either they violated their own process by not having the grand jury sign the report prior to them distributing it to the department heads, or they're lying when they say the report's not signed.
I'm shocked.
Can't you find a nicer word for lying?
No.
How about one that I heard? I heard one last week. It was a great one.
Oh,
Falsify.
falsifying. Yeah.
Is that a synonym for lie?
Yes.
Well,
Yeah.
when I was
I don't
growing up,
recall.
I was not allowed to say lie or call someone a liar. I had to say fib.
Misspoke.
When you were
You're a-
growing up?
Yes. My mom would not let me say liar. You were a fibber. That was a fib.
She didn't work for staff, did she?
Or misspoke. I misspoke.
I remember in, I think it was one of the State of the Unions with Obama, one guy hollered out, "You lie!" Yeah.
Wasn't that Chief Justice Roberts?
No.
No?
No. But
It was a congressman from.
that's, I like it that way. I like it the way you put it,
Yeah.
Tammy.
Yeah.
I was just playing around. If you lie, you're a liar.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the bottom line.
So where are we? It's been. Everybody tells me that there's been a complaint filed with the Grand Jury Association, the California Grand Jury Association. But I have not. I don't know who put the complaint up. So I'm going to try to hunt that down tomorrow. And also, I thought it might be interesting if we gave Brad Dacus of the Pacific Justice Institute a call and just asked him, hey, can anybody help us here?
Right.
And I'm all in favor of getting out on the street with some signs and say, let's have a little parade. Say, we are entitled to our grand jury report. It belongs to the people. It's not supposed to be hidden.
We paid for it.
Yes.
There was a letter to the editor in today's Appeal Democrat, which I'm surprised that I still get my subscription delivered. That's a little inside joke between Bill Beeler and I. Anyhow, Mike Ziegenmeyer had a really good letter to the editor today, as well as Pat Miller's, what you read. But I just thought it would be interesting for everybody to know that Mike Ziegenmeyer submitted that letter 9 days ago, because the Appeal Democrat has so much information coming forward that they couldn't put it in prior.
Wow.
9 days.
We understand they've got a lot of information. Some information about why the jurors resigned.
From the jurors themselves.
Yeah.
I want the truth! You can't handle the truth!
That's apparently the case. We can't handle the truth.
So is it illegal then? So we know that parts of that report were given to department heads, board of supervisors. They all signed for it. Then, from what I understand, there are parts of that grand jury report that could have been very beneficial to Sutter County to answer back and make the county a better place. But because we get nothing now, we don't know anything, not even the good parts that are in that report. So by putting it forward initially, then saying you can't talk about it, is there some law that's been broken here?
Yeah.
Well, I think the First Amendment's been broken. I mean, you could pass no law abridging the freedom of speech, right? So, I mean, everybody in the United States is entitled to the freedom of speech.
Well, in Sutter County, you're threatened with a civil lawsuit that they will not defend you from.
Yeah, but you still have the right to freedom of speech, threat or no threat. You know what I mean?
I just can't believe that not one of those supervisors is willing to stand up and say, do the right thing.
Well,
Sickening.
They're so outraged the cat's got their tongue.
Right.
So
They're so angry they can't even find their words.
Speechless.
Maybe
don't
it's
know.
time for some new supervisors.
Maybe it's time for some new everything.
Yeah.
Recall the whole lot of them. If they're going to throw the baby out with the bathwater on the grand jury report, well, then we're going to we're going to throw out the whole lot of them. Every single one of them.
So what people can do is they can call their supervisor. And this isn't a Democrat or a Republican issue. This is a people issue, and every single person in Sutter County should be, just like their supervisors, outraged, even though the supervisors haven't said that.
I personally, I don't know if they have the authority to demand the grand jury report as a supervisor, but surely they can exercise their outrage about it. And I believe if we get enough outrage in the community, then maybe we'll see what is rightfully ours. So I mean, that's just my guess.
What would your parade look like? Torches and pitchforks and
My parade would be with some good signs,
Well, how about a group of citizens getting out there and starting the band going and then having all the politicians jump out in front like they were leading it?
Politicians love a
that's
parade.
That's going to happen.
Yeah. So, I mean, some good signs that say, give the people what is rightfully theirs.
And
little
theirs
slogans
too.
like that.
And theirs too.
Yeah.
Aren't they
Sure.
interested?
Well,
for reals,
I
come
don't
on.
know. Maybe they're in the grand jury report.
Oh, now that's
So I don't know. I
You know
mean, we
what?
don't know. That's the
You know
bottom
what
line.
we
don't
should
know.
do? We should start a campaign of, since we don't know what's in that report, just throw out your best estimate of what's in that report, and we'll give you
No,
a prize for
can't-
the best opinion.
Can't speculate. I got Dirty Wit. He jumped right in my face and said, "No, we can't speculate about Miss Jean Jordan, who would never look up at the time I was talking."
But she was there.
Oh yeah, she was there.
Her contract's coming up.
Yeah.
We should all very voicefully use our voices. We don't want her. She's no good.
Well, I mean, she did give him some good advice that he never followed.
What was the good advice?
Good advice was, don't hire some outside attorneys to fight the homeless lawsuit.
Well,
All right, moving on.
so
Yeah.
we came up with a number of different ideas that we're going to be moving forward with on how to go about combating this grand jury no report. So one of the ideas was what Liz just said: go to your board of supervisors, call them, send them an email, show up at a board of supervisors meeting, use your 3-minute public comment opportunity. But all those avenues to address your board of supervisors. But not only, don't stop there. go to the next level of government. Go appeal to our Assemblyman Gallagher. Send him an email. Call him up on the phone. Send him a letter. Just send your appeals to Gallagher. And then our Attorney General. Don't stop there. Go make your complaint with the State Attorney General regarding why we have no grand jury report for 2017,
Yes,
2018.
and I think you can go online and get a form to submit to the current grand jury.
Yes, to the Sutter County Grand Jury, you go to suttercourts.com and you go to the grand jury and there is submit a complaint. You click on submit a complaint and it takes you to the page where it says grand jury citizen complaint form. You click on that, you fill out your complaint form, you send a complaint directly to this newly impaneled grand jury,
Yes.
asking them to investigate the last year's grand jury report.
Do
Yeah,
we know
there
if
you
they're
go.
all there?
Yeah.
Do we know? Are they all still impaneled or have some jumped ship?
I
Don't
haven't
know.
heard.
Do not know.
You know what? Check it out. It should be worse than that. It should be that you should be asking everybody running for office right now, what are you doing about it? What are you pushing? Who are you talking to? Why are you standing for it? The fact is, Mark Boomgarden and Brandon Barnes showed up to that meeting and had questions and wanted to listen to what the people had to say about this grand jury report. Everybody should be madder than hell, and they should be out there pounding on everybody who's running for election or running for office. They should be beating on these people. We don't want to know your normal questions. We don't want to hear your normal BS. We want to know what you're going to do about the grand jury report. Plain and simple. And if they don't want to answer it, say, you know what? I don't want to talk to you because you're not worth voting for. And just throw it in their face. What are you doing about it? You're not only running for council or you're running for some office, you're also representing the people. And if you're going to have that many votes from the people, then why aren't you madder than hell pushing on it too? And if you're not, find a new job.
Yeah, I
Why
agree
don't you
with you
tell
there,
us how you
Jason.
really feel?
Well,
I'm dropping out now.
Well, it's time for somebody to say something. And these people who are running for election and want to turn a cold shoulder to it and say, oh, well, there's nothing I can do about it, then you don't need to be elected, period.
Yep, you're right, and I love your passion on this. But every single person that we have interviewed, we have asked them this question. And like it was said before, this isn't a liberal or a conservative issue. This is what we are being denied, what we own.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. And you know what? How great for those candidates to show up and want to get more informed and want to know what the people are asking.
Mm-hmm.
2 of them showed up. How many are running for city council? 13? And 1 showed up.
Yeah.
BS.
Yeah, so we really appreciate Mark Boomgarden showing up to get the information, to hear what our concerns were, and to make his own questions, because he had questions as well. He definitely wants to get to the bottom of this, and it seems like he wants to be a voice for the people, which is awesome. And then Brandon Barnes being there as well. That's what we need. We need our elected public servants to be interested in the things that are concerning the general population so that they can work for our benefit and getting things done.
They need to be concerned with what's right and wrong.
Yes.
Now, I talked to a contractor about a year ago, and he had to go to court. And a judge said to him in the courtroom during the proceeding, he says, Mr. So-and-so, you don't really believe this has anything to do with right and wrong, do you? Can you believe that statement?
Wow. Yeah, it's unbelievable.
So that seems to be the consensus nowadays. But right and wrong, what's right and wrong? That's what these public servants that they want this job, just like Jason was saying, they should be outraged because we all say it stinks of a cover-up. I mean, that's what else can you derive from this whole program? So
Well,
anyway,
because there's good stuff in there.
oh, there could be. I'd like to see it. So let's move on to talking about the candidates that we interviewed. Do you want to do that?
Yeah, most definitely. So one of our interviews this week was, in fact, Mark Boomgarden, running for city council. And so who wants to
Chime in on
Chime
that?
in on
Kind
that,
of amazes me whenever you have a preconception about somebody at whenever you sit down with them one-on-one or just in a small group, basically one-on-one, and ask them a few questions and get the answers and then start talking to them, at how much you can be swayed by talking to somebody just one-on-one and seeing their facial expressions and getting some questions answered. And I mean, we don't throw softball questions. As a matter of fact, one that we asked questions of later responded with, wow, those were pretty, what was the exact term?
I don't.
Tom Rooser.
Did he say brutal or
Brutal,
So-
something
yeah, I think
like
it was
that.
like brutal.
The pretty brutal questions.
Yeah.
Well, you know
Which
what?
is true.
Sometimes the truth has to hurt. And the fact is we want to know what we're getting into whenever we vote for somebody.
Look, these candidates have got to know that we are vetting them. We are looking as potential employers who is going to work for us.
And you know what's great about it is most everybody here has hired employees at some time. So yeah, we ask the hard questions. Guess what? You don't like the questions? Don't show up. You don't have to answer the questions. But don't come to us for support if you don't show up to the showdown and you're not willing to answer the questions. Find support somewhere else.
I have two things about Mark Baumgarten, who was the epitome of professional, in my opinion. We went in not knowing too much about him. I came out learning that the state reimburses the city for the strike team. I did not know that for fire.
For the fire, and that's a lot of their wages. I mean, that's where you make most of your money is on the strike team stuff. It really is. I mean, it's still, their wages are still up there and shouldn't be that much.
Yeah, it's way over the top.
It's way over the top.
Yep.
But the fact is, if we're not paying all of that, that's good information. And, you know, that's the kind of thing that we need to know. And I won't go there, but it was really good. You're right.
It's not the fault
information.
of the employee for the people that put the process into place, right? So, I mean, he's doing his job. They're doing their job. My question about Mark that I've been pondering since we came out of that interview is, would you agree that our number one issue with the city is the unfunded pension liability? Would that be one of the top three?
I kind of got that from him whenever he was there, that he would. But
So because
I'm sure he'll answer it on Facebook.
No, I think he did. I believe he did give his
I thought he
priorities,
did.
and that was one of them.
But what I'm wondering is, because he is on the receiving end, which he's in the private sector now, and there's not a doubt in my mind that guy can't make a deal. He's very, very professional. But what I'm wondering is this going to be kind of like the situation that we have in Yuba County District 5, where we have a supervisor who has to recuse himself for all sorts of issues because there's a conflict? So I have that question, and I know Mark is listening because he's really, really taking an interest in the community.
Yeah.
And he seems to really want to win without having an arrogance about him of, I'm going to win. I really like the guy. I mean, the more I think about back to it and everything, like you say, the epitome of professional. I mean, really, just unbelievably professional.
Let's talk about the other one.
You're just easy, that's all.
Yeah, I am easygoing.
Let's talk about the other candidate.
Okay, so all in all, it went well with Mark Baumgarten. I agree with the professionalism. I think that that was definitely apparent there. I believe he was very respectful.
What district does he live in? That's something that we ought to be asking.
I believe that he lives in District 3.
Oh, okay.
If someone were holding a gun to my head, it's got to either be 1 or 3. Text us, Mark.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
Maybe
I'm
you're running
sure.
for the wrong office. Get in there for 2 years and we'll work on something else.
So, but the thing that I did like the aspect that he brings to the table, to where he's been on both sides, and he did spend the majority of his career in public employment. However, he's got 9 years of private sector, really leading and managing a very successful large corporation, and that is just really relevant experience.
Yeah, but
to lend to this.
for me, I'm always going to have a check there,
Yeah.
okay? Because it's like I think we got the city councilman named Manny, and we got Buckland, right? These guys are former public employees, and it seems to be that they have a loyalty to the network.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I'm not going to give Mark my 100% endorsement. You know, I want to keep a close eye on him.
I agree with you, but at the same time, it's not fair to lump him in with the trash. Well,
Oh no,
one
no,
of the-
no!
The trash trio?
I'm not aligning him with them.
Okay.
Okay, but what I'm
I got what
I'm
you're saying, that you-
is that the people need to keep a watchful eye,
Well-
because look at the mess that they've created up to this point.
But that's what
You see what
system
I'm
as a
saying?
whole is. That's why we're in the mess we're in. Is the people need to be keeping an eye on all their candidates and all their public, their elected servants. They should be keeping an eye on them. There's no doubt. But and I agree with you about Mark. He does come from that same I was a city employee type thing. But to lump him in with Manny Cardoza and the Sweet Life, I think it's a totally different.
Right.
I think it's a totally
understand-
different animal, because the guy is not somebody who drank on the job and crashed trucks and whatever
Yeah.
into
No,
things.
So just to clarify, I'm not lumping him in with them, but I'm stating
Yeah,
that in the past we've had
I agree.
guys from the city that are now in the position to bargain for all the city employees. Okay,
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying.
And that's all allegedly that Manny did that, but the thing is
put a name to it now.
is allegedly he did that and spent some time out at the sewer pond, and he did spend the time at the sewer pond. So allegedly,
That's like going to Siberia, right?
exactly.
Yeah.
That's right. You get sent to sewer ponds instead of Siberia.
Let's talk about the other candidate.
Okay, so
Sorry.
Tom Rooser running for Sutter County Superintendent of Schools. So we already talked to Bell, and what I got out of this interview was that I'm all Bell on board with Bell. I really liked what she had to say, with the reservation knowing that we had another candidate to listen to, which we did. So I was, we're not ready to stand behind either one of them yet. However, Tom Rooser brought up some points that were valid, good questions, and now I have some information that I'd like to go back to Bell with to kind of see where that leads us. So this is all a vetting process. This is all we're trying to decide where these people stand, what they're actually presenting, and how we feel about the validity of their points.
That's what I think the value is in this radio program. Okay, because not everybody's going to get the opportunity to go and have those meetings. It's just physically impossible. So by us instigating the meetings and trying to dig, we're providing a service for those out there that that are interested.
Well, and the kind of the way I look at it, and maybe it's patting myself on the back a little too much, but for all of us, I mean, I feel like we're wading through the crap, and then we're going to give you what we believe. We got a pretty well-versed opinion here.
Well-rounded.
But, yeah, well-rounded opinion. But we're going to we're going to cut all the crap out of it and give you some of the best candidates that are out there that you're going to be able to talk to yourself at these forums that we're going to be putting on, and have a good time and talk to them in private, at the forum that we're going to be putting on and things like that. So we're just, we're going to pick the best of what we believe are the best. And believe me, we don't care what background they are or anything else. We want what is best for the community. And somebody has to do this.
Yes.
Separating the wheat from the chaff.
Yes.
That's what we're doing.
Right. When they separated the wheat, from the chaff, you know what they did?
They beat it.
They beat it. Yeah.
Well, that's
They
what
put it on
has
a
to happen.
threshing floor and they beat it.
And if you listen to Tom Russer, that's kind of what goes on at those meetings that we're having.
This is the
He was nervous.
threshing floor.
He was nervous.
Well, he's not a political animal, and that's the takeaway from both Bal and Tom. And I'd like to see both of them back for another interview.
Yes.
So
I agree.
After we have a few more compiled a few more questions about it.
Yeah. We're not. For me, I think we got to dig a little deeper for this position.
Right.
The Office of Education Superintendent.
Well, it wouldn't hurt any of us for all of us to understand it a little bit better.
Yes.
And I mean, just voting for who you think is the best. It's a very in-depth position that you need to read a little bit about and get to understand because there's a lot to it.
I will tell you that Val has a thorough grasp on what this position is for and intended for. And I can tell you that my impression from Tom is he doesn't understand the full realm of what the position does. I can say that. So there's that I've already determined from our conversations. Val knows exactly what her purpose is and what her role is and can explain it very articulate.
Yes, but
And
she's
got us
also
to
been doing
understand.
it for 2 years already. So she should.
That is correct.
Yes. And I have a friend from the Tea Party that told me there's been a couple more lucrative positions hired out in the administration and that the ROP funding is getting cut to zero. So that's what I want to dig into. I want to thresh on the floor a little bit more.
I want one of those
Well, you're just a poet.
$120,000 a year janitor jobs.
You're a poet and you didn't even know it.
Yes.
Check it out. This is what I would like to see. And this came from, I'm just going to say it, Joe Carwell came up with the idea. And, you know, the ROP is great, and it is a good thing, and I think that spending the money for it and putting it other places is not a good idea. But the fact is the teachers need to stick to teaching. Reading, writing, arithmetic. You teach them that.
Excuse me, gender identity, please. Gender identity and
no gender studies. That is not needed to be taught in the schools.
You know what? I'm a professional at gender identity. You're a woman, I'm a man. Tammy's a woman, I'm a man. Tammy's a woman, Tom's a man. Tammy, you're a woman.
Yeah.
Randy's a man.
Randy's a man. Thank you. I mean,
How were you able to deduce that?
I can just tell. It took a lot of time.
Do you have an innie or an outie? That's really how it all boils down to that. It's pretty simple. It's very simple. It's biology.
Okay, but I mean, it's just wow. Really? Come on now.
So
we don't need to be teaching about Harvey Milk.
No.
Right?
We don't even mean to mention the name, but okay.
Well, doesn't California have 26 different kinds of gender identification to choose from now on? For
Who can keep track?
Yeah, well,
26. How the heck can that be?
You know why?
Do you know
because
all of
there's
them, Randy?
26 letters in the alphabet.
I didn't
Get
think
it?
about
Gender
that.
A
That's
through
right.
Z.
It's A through Z, man.
Yeah, but isn't there a little A, big A gender, and then a big B, little B gender?
Probably.
And I mean,
Oh, then you
Of
have
course, you got the
the.
transgenders, so you have ABs and ACs and CDs.
It's not the
never
the
ending.
job of the schools.
even though I had to question my gender the other day because I had to go to a baby shower.
well, I'm questioning the
The
gender
one
of the
and
five.
only, right?
Yeah, that'll be my last one.
I'm
Yes.
questioning the gender of the 5 Sutter County supervisors right now. I wish they'd find a pair.
Find their
Because-
Spaldings.
They need some Spalding.
Yeah, they may be spouting off in the administrator's office that they're outraged, but until I see it for myself, not buying it.
So I want to say this is the threshing floor. Okay. From now on,
Okay.
this is going to be the threshing floor. Yes.
That works.
Well, okay.
So we've just a reminder, we got the Yuba Sutter Fair coming up this weekend.
Yes, we do.
Oh,
And-
that's right. Brandon Barnes is going to have a booth there.
And a number of us are volunteering at Brandon Barnes' booth at the fair because we were asked. And that's what we told candidates. We're here to support you. All you need to do is let us know what you need, and we will put the people together to fill that need.
If we support you and your beliefs.
That's a big if.
So,
And you don't
yeah.
stink.
Wow.
So,
All right.
That is a prerequisite.
The
Yuba
trash
Sutter Fair.
The trash trio need not apply.
Anywho, starting at 1 o'clock on Thursday, come out to the Yuba Sutter Fair, visit Brandon Barnes' booth, and probably see one of us there either on a Friday or a Saturday. That's when the need was expressed. So we're going to be filling some of those spots on those days. So come say hello, and we'll tell you how great Brandon is and why you need to vote for him. Did you did his commercial already today, right?
Yes, I did.
Okay, cool.
And just to wrap that up, it was Joe Wilson that shouted out "liar" to Obama.
Oh, Joe Wilson.
Yeah.
But one of the Supreme Court justices in his big, grandiose black robe was shaking his head vehemently no. Right?
Yes, you're right.
I don't know how anybody sat through Obama. God.
Hey, how much time do we have left, Jay?
45 seconds.
So my wife just called me and said that the police were at my office because there was a homeless guy sitting at the front porch.
Is that the one that you allowed to let him charge his phone?
Yes. And then, so she was showing up there because she goes and does her yard work there.
Uh-huh.
And how about that, guys? My wife does the yard work. So they told her, the police told her that we have to give him written permission to be there.
Where is he going to keep it?
Yeah.
In his file cabinet
so,
at home?
I mean,
God bless everybody.
We let him use the
We're
power
on out
there.
the door.
All right.
All right. Hey, have a good week.
In a California wild.